Hello, I'm Babette Mais, current president with SI Bidwell Venture, and I'm also your social media coordinator for the Sierra Nevada region. Today I want to talk about some advanced options with Zoom. So let's get started. On your browser, open Zoom and log into your account. And then head over to Settings over here on the left-hand side. And let's get started with security. Zoom now wants you to pick either of these two options. They want you to either put your participants into a waiting room or set a passcode that people have to enter when they want to enter the meeting. I would suggest you go with the waiting room. It is the easiest option. People don't have to remember another number to log in. And you can individually put everybody, allow everybody into the meeting. So I have my waiting room turned on right here. There's a couple other options that it always, when you set a meeting, requires your personal ID. That's a personal meeting ID that you will have with every meeting, and I have that set on for all meetings, to use for all meetings, so I don't have to set a different ID every single time. And then we're going to head on for scheduling the meeting. When you schedule the meeting, we can go over that later a little bit when we go over to the meetings. There's just a couple basics you want to set. In the settings, you want to certainly have your video go on, so I have that turned on, and the participants' video need to go on, and they have the option to turn that off themselves during the meeting. You always want to allow the telephone and the computer audio, due to some people might call in via phone, so you want to have that accessible. They can certainly join the meeting before the host comes in. They are then again placed in that waiting room until you let them in. And then we're going to go on a little bit to the basics of the meeting. There's just a couple details you can set. They're not that important. You don't have to have everybody muted as they come in. Up here I have that set up because a lot of times we have a little catch-up session before the meeting starts, and then everybody can mute themselves, or you can mute everybody. So in the basic of the meeting, I have the chat on, so people can send messages. All messages are visible to all participants when you send a message via chat. That's very important when you send files especially. You also turn on private chat. I have that turned on so people can communicate with each other. The chats will automatically save. The sound notification when somebody joins or leaves the meeting, I have set to only the host and the co-host. Not everybody needs to hear when somebody leaves. And now over to file transfer. I have turned on that the host and the participants can share files through the chat during the meeting. So that is turned on, and I will show you that when we later on go into a meeting, how that works and what that looks like. I am not only allowing certain files, I'm allowing all files, so this stays clear. Feedback can be sent to Zoom. I have that on. It's not that important. You can turn on end of the meeting experience with a thumbs up and a thumbs down if you wanted to do that from your participants. I have that turned off right now. The co-host allows the host to add co-hosts, and when I'm just doing a club meeting, I don't have that turned on, but in this case, when you have a bigger meeting with several people participating as speakers, you want to turn that on, so you can allow other participants to be the host, and they have the same controls as you as the host. So you want to turn that on. You can add polling to the meeting control, and I shall show you those yes and no control buttons in the meeting when we go there later. You can certainly, that way you can survey attendees. That might be working if we had to do some voting, and that certainly is up to you if you want to explore that. Right now I have that turned on. The control bars I have not turned on, constantly on. I hover over them, and that's when they appear with my mouse. You can certainly turn them permanently on, so you always will see them right here. Show Zoom windows during screen share time, I have that turned off. You will see the participants on the side. You don't need to see the whole window when you share your screen. Now to screen sharing, here you can set who can share. I am setting normally to host only when only I hold a meeting for a club meeting. If you have more people participating and you have other speakers, you want to set this to all participants. And then who can start sharing when someone else is sharing, I have set up to all participants as well. Now, moving on to the annotations, here I have set on that the participants and the host are able to use the annotations. That is really important when you use a whiteboard. So the other participants also can use that same whiteboard that they see on their screen. And then we're allowing the savings of the shared screen with that, and only the user who's sharing can annotate. I want to turn that off. So everybody can share that. That kind of comes just into play if you would play a game, for example, on the whiteboard, and I will show you that again, how that looks like in the actual meeting. So you want to save your settings right there. And then the whiteboard is another option to share, and you want to turn that on if you want to allow the host and the participants to share whiteboard during the meeting. So I have that turned on right here. You want to allow the savings, and then it just tells you how you want to save the whiteboard, either as a PDF or a PNG, and that is up to you what you decide to do there. The remote control talks about another person being able to control what is shared during the meeting. So during the screen sharing, the person who's sharing can allow others to control the shared content. So you can turn that on or off. And then you have a nonverbal feedback where people can do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You can turn that on if you wanted to. You don't have to. This gives the options of them to do that. There is some icons on the participation panel to do that. Here's a meeting reactions. There are a couple of emojis that are going to be available. I have those turned on. Here you're going to allow participants to rename themselves. I have that also turned on. Each meeting you can rename yourself. And then you have the hide participants' profile pictures in the meeting. I have that turned off. When you have that video, that really does not come into place. The last option here in the meeting is a little advanced. Report participants to Zoom if they are, inappropriate behavior. That certainly doesn't apply to us that are usually big meeting groups, so I wouldn't worry about that. If you want to do little smaller breakout rooms, you need to turn that on in the setting, and then you will be able to set that up. Remote control, allow meeting host to provide a one-on-one remote support to other participants. I have not turned any of these past ones on. They're a little bit more advanced. I do allow the virtual background. I have that turned on for myself. And you can actually manage the virtual background and add your own pictures to the virtual background. Videos filters I have turned on, so the video is optimized if you do share video. And then the rest I have not turned on as well. There is something that guests can be particularly identified in the meeting, and you really don't need any of those at this point. The only one I have turned on is the data center region for meetings is in the United States. I do have turned on all email notifications. You get emails when the recording is ready, when an attendee joins a meeting before you, certainly when the meeting is canceled, email is sent out to participants. So there's a couple email settings that you kind of want to all turn on so you're notified by them. And then on the other one, it's that all the language is English. So that is basically the whole setup for Zoom in the major browser. And we're now going to head over to our meeting up here. A little higher up it says meetings. You want to go up there. If you want to schedule a meeting, you go to meetings. And you see all your upcoming videos, your previous meeting, and the templates, if you have set any templates. And if you wanted to schedule a new meeting, you can either go right here, schedule a meeting, or up here, schedule a meeting. So this browser allows you directly to go to a meeting up here or host a meeting. And you can see there with video off, with video on, or screen share only. Let's schedule a meeting and just see what that scheduling looks like. When you schedule a meeting, you have the topic. You will fill out the topic. Let's call it test meeting. You could have the option to make a more detailed description of the meeting. You would set the date and the time, the approximate duration of the meeting, what time zone you're in. You have the option to set it as a recurring meeting. I did that with all our club meetings, since they happen every month now. Registration required. I have not turned that never on because I just share my personal meeting ID right here and the meeting that's set, and then that is enough for people to get in. For security reasons, you either pick a password and you can enter a passcode every single time, or the waiting room. I take that passcode out and only require the reading room. Now the video is on from the host and the participants. Audio is going to be both, as we talked about. And then the meeting options are enable join before host. Certainly allow that. I have turned off the muting participants before entry. The only authenticated users can join. I have that turned off and automatically record the video. I have turned that off. I'm manually going to click on record. And then you can set alternate hosts right here. If you know already who is co-hosting with you, you can set them right here with an email address, as you can see. And then certainly click save. And the meeting is now right there. There you see test meeting. This is ready to be shared now. You now can add it to your calendar. Here is the meeting ID. We have chosen the waiting room. And here's the invite link. So you can either highlight this and copy this, or click on copy invitation. Here's the whole invitation. You can copy that whole invitation and now share that in an email or any other options you have to invite your membership. And then we're just repeating right here the host video and the participants video is on, telephone and computer audio. You're enabling the host, and you have not basically invited anybody, but you can edit the meeting right here if you wanted to, and then add co-hosts this way if you wanted to. You can edit this up to the meeting, so there's a long time to change things. And you can down here add a poll question. Now we talked about the polling earlier, so you could now enter a question right here. You click add. And now you would enter a poll question, and then that is the question you can in the meeting will be able to answer. So it's a pretty neat option, and I have not played with it either, but I suggest maybe to look into it. Now, if you would want to add rooms, breakout rooms, what they call it, you could actually go down on the left side under administration. There's user management and room management, Zoom rooms. And you can add different Zoom rooms right here and create different breakout rooms that you can later send participants to. Okay, now we're going to head over to the Zoom app, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in the Zoom app. I'm going to minimize that and pull up my Zoom app right here. And let's just get started with the meeting. We're just going to use that test meeting right here and get started with that. I want to go first into the settings up here and show you a couple things in basic settings. So on your app, you have that setting button, right? That little wheel up there. And you have your general setting right here. You're using your monitors. If you use dual monitors, you can set that right here. If you wanted to enter the full screen when starting, you can set that right here. I have those turned off because I'm not using another monitor and I don't want the whole screen taken over. You can copy the invite link when starting a meeting. That way you can invite people during the meeting time if you needed to. You ask always to confirm the meeting when leaving. Show the duration, certainly, that is important for your recording. And then you can add Zoom, in my case, right down here to my Mac OS menu bar down here. And to kind of just set a reminder if you wanted to before the meeting comes up, and you can make that tone. And then for the thumbs up and thumbs down, you can change your skin tone there. Then you can set the details on the video and can actually manage the video setting right here. You have the audio that you can test right here and set. You want to have the share screen checking right here. I have that set to side-by-side mode, and I'm silencing my whole desktop system when I share. Otherwise, every email, everything that you have set with sound will interfere with the meeting. You can scale to fit the shared content to the Zoom window if you wanted to, and then you can maximize your Zoom window when participants share screen automatically. So I just do that manually, so I don't have it set to an auto. You can enter full screen when a participant shares screen, and you can also set that automatically right here or do it manually. The chat options you have right here as well. You can go into detail in the chat options. You can show voice messages, include link preview. You have all kinds of different options. You can work through these and see what you prefer and what is important to your meeting. Here's the background and fillers that you can change. You can either have nothing and then everybody can see your office, or you can have the preview done that Zoom actually offers. And I have actually added a couple backgrounds myself of my computer. So I'm just going to switch it right now to that. As you can see, it's a Soroptimist one, and you can pick any picture and put it in the background. So it's kind of neat and fun to play with, so check that out. You can also do video fillers, and if you wanted to add something, you click on that little plus sign right here, and it will add an image or a video. You click add image, and now it will pull up your images from your computer. Let's see, I'm just opened my photos, and you can just pick any image you want. And let's see, let's just pick this for fun. We'll click open, and it changes to that right there, as you can see. So you can use any picture you want, and then during the meetings or before a meeting, change them up accordingly. Alright, here's the setting for recording. You can change where this is going to be recorded to. I always have it recorded to my desktop because I usually use Zoom for my desktop, and I like the file to be secured there. I know where it's going to go, and I can have easy access to it. And it's right, you can change it up here where you want to do it. If a different recording, I've mine changed to the desktop Zoom under Zoom recordings. You can also add a new location here on your computer and just change where you want it recorded to. So it gives you the options to choose a recording, choose a location for the recording after the meeting ends. You can every time meeting change that. I have it go to the same area, so I not have that turned on. You can record a separate audio file for each participant. I don't have that turned on either. You can optimize it. That's right now not really necessary, so that's not turned on. I definitely add a timestamp to the recording, and I'm also recording video doing screen sharing. So you have a couple options here and see what works best for you. The cloud recording, you can certainly manage right here. It says manage, and it goes back to the browser where you're going to set that recording exactly the way you want it to. So I'll minimize that again. Okay, then up here you can change your profile in your little settings on your app. You can see the advanced features right here, and it always takes you back to that main browser. That's why I suggest to just go first in the main browser in your computer and have everything set and ready to go. And then you can edit your profile and change your subscription right there. Statistics, if you're interested in any of the statistics of the meetings, you can certainly have that checked up on overall audio, video, and screen sharing. Feedback to Zoom. Here's some keyboard shortcuts, and then the accessibilities right here. So you can change the closed caption, the meeting controls. You can allow them, to show the meeting controls. Like I said, did that only with hovering over it, and then they pop back up. So this is the way we can set the schedule in your, set the changes in your app. And this shows up on your iPad as well as on your desktop. So Let's start this meeting that we just did as a test meeting, and I'll show you a couple options in there. There we go, we're connecting using the audio computer, and here we are in our meeting. And let's go through a couple settings. Over here you find mute. Now on your iPad or phone, this might look a little different, and you have to kind of touch on your screen and see where you find these options. Most of them are there. So you have the mute button where you can mute yourself, and then it will show with a red line through it. Here's your start and stop video. Then we have security, where you can have the options to change a couple things. Here's a waiting room enabled. You allow participants to share the screen, to chat, to rename themselves, and to unmute themselves. You can turn all of these options off if you keep clicking on them. There we go. Now unmute is unclicked. I'm going to click that back up, and it is back. So it's just the settings in your meeting that you can do right there if you forgot to set it before. If you click on this one, and it shows all the participants, it will show the waiting room as everybody comes in. And up here, when people come in and you let them in the meeting, right over here is the mute button. They can mute themselves, and you can see if their video and sound is on. And if you click on more, they can rename themselves or edit this profile picture. So that's a pretty neat option. And I have right now automatically turned my video off. So see the camera and the video, you can turn that back on right down here. And there I am again. And they all will pop up there. Now if you click the chat button, this will cut into half, and the chat will be at the bottom, and you can chat with everyone, or you can find a particular member maybe that you want to send a quick message to, and once you have members in the meeting, they will pop up as an option and you can send a message to them. This is also the place where you're going to send your files. Right here is the file, and you open it up and you can pick a file from your computer, from your Google Drive, your Microsoft OneDrive, or your Dropbox, and you can just pick them and they will then show up. So let's say I want to pick a file from my computer. You click on your computer, my computer files will pull up, and you look for what you're trying to find, and you double click and it will load up and it will send to everyone right there. That Soroptimist SNR navigation site right now is shared with everybody. And everybody now has access to that because we set that to everybody. So there's your file. And then on the chat over here with those three little dots, you have a couple other options. You can make that a little bit more restricted if you want to, the chat box. We have it set to everyone publicly and privately chat available. So that's where you can change some of that. All right, up here, you have now the yes and no, and this comes in when the polling comes in. So here's the polling. You would have that question that you had pre-written. Remember, in the settings, you would click on that and that question would pop up, and then your participants be able to say yes or no. And as you could see, that yes pops up right up there next to my name. There's a no, and then they have options of go slower in the meeting, go faster. So these are quiet options to communicate. There's a couple more options: thumbs up, thumbs down, a clap, a coffee break, and then that somebody's temporarily away. So these are quiet options to set, and you see that when you have your participant room open, and then you can clear them all right there. If you forgot to have a certain person that maybe contacts you and said, I didn't get invited, you can click on the invite right here and you can send your meeting option right there with the invite to somebody directly so they can join the meeting. You as a host can mute everybody. And then over here we have a couple more options where you can set some preferences about the meeting right here. And you can change them as you go along or as you feel fit for the meeting. Alright, so a little further down is record, and we talked about that. The record will give you the options to record to the cloud or to this computer. and you can click that, and then this whole meeting will be recorded. That is very important to remember for all of our meetings. They need to be recorded, so that needs to be turned on as soon as the meeting starts. Here's a reaction button. There's a couple emojis that will pop up in front of people's windows. So let's clap that. See, that pops up right up there. And it will disappear in a little bit again by itself. And if, that is just a reaction again that participants show if they like something. Here's a thumbs up, and it pops up usually in the left top corner. And eventually it goes away. So there's just a reaction that all participants have access to. All right, before we go to the share screen, I want to talk about that little dot up here, all the way up in the corner. There is the information meeting. On your iPad, it is sitting more in the middle, I think. This will give the meeting ID, who the host is, your invite link, and the participant ID. If you make somebody the co-host, they need, during the meeting, and they're asking to be a host, they have that option right next to their name over here to ask to be a host. This will pop up asking about this participant number. So this is where you find that, up in that little meeting information link. So you click that, and that is really important to remember. If somebody has that option up here to become a host, you need to give them that 6-digit number. And then they can be the host and have all options of sharing that you as a host have. All right, let's move on to share screen. Sorry. We're going to open this up and see how we're going to allow this. So we have one participant can share at a time, or multiple participants can share. I would suggest to just have one participant share at a time turned on, and then you can set some advanced option. If you click on that, you have the options of setting only the host can share, or again multiple participants. If you have multiple speakers and they have material to share, you want to set it to all participants. Now if you click on the share option, you have the desktop you can share, a whiteboard, or you connect an iPhone or an iPad via AirPlay or via a cable. So let's share the desktop. You click on share, and now you would be able to see my desktop. Let's see, we'll open that up. So anything I open now on my desktop, you will see. You can pull up files and share them, and all participants will end up here in the right-hand corner on top, and they usually go down in a row. So you have the whole screen visible to everybody. And up here you can see you are screen sharing now. You can see your whole options up here now. You can annotate on this, so you can click on this. It'll give you several options, the mouse options, a text option, a draw option, a stamp option. There's an eraser for all, a clear section, a save section. And you can use that to, highlight things or mark. So if you could do a text thing, you can now write on it and everybody sees. Let's clear that, clear all drawings. You can draw if you needed to. So there's a lot of different options. And then when you're done sharing, you just click stop share, and your Zoom window will pop back into place, and the participants won't be able to see your computer screen. Now another option of sharing screen is a whiteboard. We talked about a little earlier. So you would click on the whiteboard, again click share, and now again all participants will show on the right hand side, and your whiteboard is ready to go with the annotate section up here. You can now draw if you want to right here. And the other participants will also be able to draw. If they use their mouse or if they use their finger on their smart devices, they get the same little box on their device up here, and they're able to do the same thing, which, for example, they could play tic-tac-toe with you. The other side could basically now have their turn, the other participants to use the same option. So it is a very neat tool to use, from able to access all participants. And then again, when you're done with that, you're going to stop share, and it disappears. A third option is to share your iPad or your iPad via computer or via cable with the AirPlay. So I'm going to turn on my iPad here and I'm going to start screen mirroring. I'm going to turn this on, iPad via AirPlay. I'm going to click share. And now I see on my phone, on my iPad, I see the Zoom, and my name is Banzai Mac. I'm going to click that. And now you can see what my iPad screen shows. And you can basically do the screening of your iPad now. If you have any files on there or any pictures on there that you want to maybe show that you don't have on your computer, there's your option to share that with your iPad. And then again, stop sharing when you're ready with that and be done with that. So those are several really neat options to share a screen, share your files via chat room, and then certainly on your screen. Okay, those are the major options for sharing, and I hope you can maybe go back and see some of those share screen options and play with them ahead of time. I'm going to turn our meeting and I'm going to end it for all and not just leave the meeting because I'm the only one in the meeting. So we're going to end it for all. Now it's automatically going to record my whiteboard on my computer. I can turn that on and I can delete that later. Okay, before I end, I just wanted to show you a couple of the other options up here. You have a chat button up here. You can start a chat with somebody over here. All my meetings are set right here. I have set up until January all our club meetings, so they will all show up here. You can always copy the invitation and then certainly send it via email to your club members. And I'm going to delete that test meeting right now that we had done. So I'm going to delete that. Okay. And then here's contacts. You can start adding contacts to your list if you wanted to. That way you can easily invite them just from Zoom. So that is another option. Okay, those were the basics and a little advanced options of sharing and working with your Zoom account. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me under bmaiss, BMAISS, @msn.com.